left this a little too late in the night because I feel very sleepy. Let's see if the tea can get me through it. It may take a while, but they eventually sit down and have a chat. Dan apologizes, but PhD right now is more focused on not dying. At that moment, a robed woman is passing by with some water. They argue whether or not they should ask her for help, but before they can finish, she cockblocks them and gives them some water, then invites them over for some cake. I realize now how weird this sounds. Sussy PhD refuses both, but still joins in anyway. She takes them to a boat that they need to use to reach her hut. She has to take them one by one, so she takes Dan first. He basically doesn't look back. Let me just make sure the correct mic is recording.
So I don't sound squeaky again. Just making sure.
Then she comes back for PhD. During this ride, he focuses very intensely on the water, leaning in, and then eventually he wakes up inside the hut and doesn't remember what happened afterwards. Getting back to Dan, he has eaten his fair share of cake and offers some to Moody PhD. He also fills in on the names. The lady who took a cat and a bottle to finish her walk, her name is Diana, and the cat's name is Billy. Here's the thing, the reason they have these names is because in Bangla, the word for witch is Dainiburi, and the word for cat is Beral. That's literally the only reason for me giving them those names. Hungry PhD is wondering why she didn't have a cat the first time. Diana meets up with an Illager patrol and puts her cat away very quickly. One of them, the captain, comes out, not like that, to greet her. She tells them that the mansion invaders were on their way to destroy their tower and are now in a hut. She then gives them the opportunity to wipe them out. Back in the hut, Dan notices some drinks glowing. Smarty PhD deduces that they are potions of leaping and of speed. There was another that she took before leaving, but he can't say what it is. The two decide to go once she gets back, because they need the boat, remember? But when they look outside, they see the patrol sailing towards them.
अभी आप अपने एकदम ठीक सामने देखिए, आपको क्या दिखाई दे रहा है?
The Illagers sail towards them, and because of their arrows, the two are basically trapped inside. Once they reach the pier, they start slamming the door, and eventually they break through. But they find nothing. That being said, when the captain looks outside, he can see them leaping all the way to the shore. They land quite heavily and so need to recover before they can run again. During this time, Dan notices something being written on the ground. Friend. Quickly, PhD says they should now take the speed potion to outrun the arrows. Dan convinces him to run to the friend. After running very quick thanks to the potion, they reach a pillager outpost, which is mostly empty except for an imprisoned golem. Again, this is one of those shifting between perspective sequences. Dan attends to the golem as he thinks that's the friend. He examines the cage for weaknesses and comes across a lock. The golem actually hands him a rose, not for lockpicking, but to prove that he is indeed a friend. Cuteness aside, the patrol is coming closer, so Dan needs to do something quick. He tries breaking the cage, but nothing happens. Pacey PhD races to the top of the roof and meets the king. With the potion running out, he has no option but to fight. During the fight, his arm is broken by the king. The king is then broken by gravity. When the king falls, an amulet falls out. From where, I don't know. Dan rushes to the amulet and throws it at the lock. Now, the pillagers have arrived within shooting distance, and one of them aims at Dan. Thankfully for Dan, the golem throws a rock and scares everyone away. Wary PhD comes down to reunite with Dan, who shows some signs of maturing intellectually. Due to his injury, Grim is what Dan named the golem, by the way, carries him on his shoulder, and Dan walks beside them to a village. Not just any village, but the village he comes from. On the other side, the patrol once again meets with Diana. Diana just casually roasts them like a disappointed parent and then suggests that they ask the mansion residents for help. See, the Illagers have a policy, because plot, that if their king is killed, they have to attack within a day. Back in the village, Dan wakes up after falling asleep and gets something to eat. Drowsy PhD also wakes up soon to see the wandering trader treating his own. Now, in case you're wondering, why this guy? Well, long story short, he has such a cool design, but he's so underutilized, it's frustrating. I don't know if they've changed him recently, but as far as I can say...
For now, let's talk about this guy, the wandering trader.
There is no passion, there is no vision, there is no aggression.
But at least there's Trader Llama.
Also, there's a couple of things that we have to note before reading through the chapter. First, the names. Kinda like how Diana and Billy were named, literally what they were, but in Bangla. The villagers are just named whatever their professions are, and unlike before, these names aren't changed to look namey in English, they're just taken as they are. Also, I'm not sure if those names are accurate, since Bangla, I mainly speak with my family, and we never really encountered a situation where we needed to see an armorer or Fletcher or something. That being said, I am reading more now, so I could better connect with my heritage. Getting back to the topic, on the site I left notes for why they had the names that they had. Second, the mod. This chapter is set explicitly in the mod and demonstrates some of it in action. Again, feel free to check it out. For now, let's just continue the story. Trader takes Trey PhD to the church to reunite with Dan. Trey PhD, you could really tell I was running out. Then he goes to chill with the fisherman, while the two visitors return to the guest house. The cleric arrives shortly and, in accordance with his faith, gives food to the needy. He then leaves while the two finish their food. Dan says that when they finish, not like that, they should take a walk. During the walk, they see the trader again, but he has to leave with his llamas. Where? It's a secret. We then meet Craig. If you remember him, you're an OG. Now Craig isn't the brightest. He reveals way too much, including the fact that the villagers may have learnt a lesson. He runs to bed with Dan, not like that, while elementary PhD goes to investigate. The next morning, Diana attends the gathering of villagers, this time joined by their beasts, the Ravagers, to prepare for war. Now, these guys are actually pretty cool. She locates them thanks to the cake they ate. Again, not like that. The captain commands his army. They are to leave none alive. Alright, that's it for this one. We have a couple more chapters to go, 3 more chapters. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you for the next one.